However, the thing that was really interesting to me was at lunchtime today, my hostess was saying to me, and her name's Mary, but Mary was saying to me that, she really wasn't into computers or her cell phone or anything like that, and she really didn't get it. And I laughed at her, because I'm not polite. I laughed and I said, really? And she said, yeah, I don't know what this Google thing is. And I went, you are way more into technology than you know. And she looked at me and said, what? And I said, yes. I said, I've just stayed with you for a couple of days. You've been on your phone more than I have. In invisible time. I mean, what I was doing in my bedroom late at night in terms of my technology was, a whole different thing. But during the day, I didn't have my cell phone with me, you did. During the day, when you wanted to set the timer on your washing machine, you walked into your kitchen and you've got an Alexa. For those of you who don't know, that's one of those gizmos where you just talk to it. And you walked into your kitchen and you said to Alexa, 28-minute timer, please. And Alexa technology, 28 minutes told you that your time was up. And I didn't see you do that once or twice. I saw you do that regularly during the day. Not only that, when I was in a discussion with you about Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, you walked into the kitchen and you asked Alexa how old Jane Fonda was and how old Lily Tomlin was. You see, you are far more technically connected than you think you are. And really all that Google is the old-fashioned way of doing that. That's what I was trying to say. I said, I don't have Alexa in my home, but there's part of me that's going, I think I might. Because that really was quite useful. You didn't have to go and get to the computer and go and do anything. You just literally leant over and told Alexa what you wanted, and Alexa found it for you. How many of you know I'm going, like me one of those? And so I found that fascinating, that even though Mary has that technology in her kitchen and at her fingertips, she does not perceive herself as anybody that is connected. I found that fascinating. Now, I did say something, and maybe we will see part of that when I get the replay of the speech. But part of what I talked about to the assembled Rotarians was that the reason I was concerned, and I am deeply concerned, for the future of Rotary is because it's not moving fast enough. And when I say it's not moving fast enough, you've got the majority of people are older, and quite a bit older. And so you get young people who perhaps want to join Rotary and be part of the community and do good things. But the problem is the people that are in there are very set in their ways and old school, and this is the way it gets done, and da-da-da-da. And what I was trying to say to them time and time again was, if you want to get young people into Rotary, you got to be aware this is going to bore them stupid. Young people do not have the attention span for the meetings you have. They're too wired up for that. The young people will not want to sit down for that long. The young people will, and I said, you can say, well, they need to learn, and as they mature, they will, but by which time, I fear that will Rotary still be in existence to the way that it is. So part of me actually in a private conversation said, sometimes I wonder whether the only way to make this possible is to start completely new clubs with only young people, where you don't have any of the older generations there, except maybe as an adjunct to, sort of an addition to it, where if you guys want any help, the Old Farts Club down the road will do everything they can to help you. And I said, you see, that's where I think you need to go. You need to take your membership that is older and not have it as your primary, have that as your backup for your young people. But that is just Sal's thought. And I've been known to be wrong before. But I do know, and I think a lot of you know as well, that the speed at which young people think today is so lightning fast. The speed with which they act today is so lightning fast that if you're not keeping up with them, they are bored. They really don't have time. I was talking to them about that two young people down in Florida, David Hogue and Emma Gonzalez, I think. And what I said was that, what they managed to do in 2 weeks, no politicians, no Rotarians would have been able to put that together in 2 weeks. That's my belief. But young people could. Because you see, young people knew the power of social media. And in 2 weeks, they literally produced worldwide marches in 2 weeks. And go figure that one. And I said, while everybody else would be going, well, we'll probably need a year to plan this out and get it together. We can do it, but it's going to take a lot of finance. It's going to take a lot of organization and a lot of, police presence and da-da-da-da. Whilst everybody else over 25 was probably thinking that route, this group just went, let's do it. And just went to each community and said, organize it in your community and let them sort out the police and everything else. And I said, that is the speed with which they would like to work. Also talking about the fact that apparently neither Yale nor Harvard wanted these two young people in their lives. Apparently they had, I'm not sure about Emma, but I know that David Hogue had applied to both Yale and Harvard. And both Yale and Harvard decided they didn't want a troublemaker. And part of my speech revolved around, if you'd been the dean of those universities, would you have made the same call? Or would you have said, we would be honored to have anybody who's capable of organizing something like that in such a short space of time and has the passion to do it? You see, that is my question, which is, are you inspired by these young people, or are you threatened by them? So it was quite a lively debate on my side, and I really have to say that one of the joys about not being in Rotary anymore for me is that I can actually say what I really think and not worry about towing the party line, if you like. But the other thing is, I think that they really genuinely appreciated the fact that I came down and had that discussion. I was amazed how many people thanked me, and I don't think they were just being polite. I think they genuinely were looking for that sort of stimulation to go down and go, well, hang on a second, let's shake the tree up a bit here. If you keep on doing what you've always done, you keep on getting what you've always got, and it's not what you want. If you want to, maintain a service organization these days, there's too much competition for people's time. And so when you want to join a club, you want to join a club that actually stimulates you, not one that bores you, and one that you really believe in. And I can assure you, Rotary does some incredibly good work. And it is probably best known for the fact that it has almost single-handedly wiped out polio around the world. Now, all credit to Rotary for that. And as I said during my speech, I may not be a Rotarian because I don't belong to a club, but part of me will always be a Rotarian because I believe so much of what they do. I just have a bit of problem with some of the politics of it, but that's my stuff. And so I looked at the whole experience that I have had. As I said, the generosity of the people was amazing. It was very interesting for me, as a lot of you know, I'm very interested in American politics, and so it was very interesting for me to go down and sit in the home of people living in a small community in Washington State, which has a few complaints about what's going on, and hear what just regular folks think about what's going on. So that to me was very interesting to be able to do. I found it very interesting because this was a small community, and obviously the downturn in the economy had quite an impact on them. But everybody's sort of recovering from that now. But to hear some of the stories about how people had survived it, that was really important to hear. I think the thing that touched me most of all was the sense of humor. They're very funny people. The majority were very genuine. They were authentic, the majority. I did see some that weren't, but then they had probably very good reasons to keep the barriers up and do the image thing and so forth. But they were very few and far between. I was actually quite stunned at how authentic people were. Had lack of barriers, lack of needing to stand on ceremony or whatever. The majority of them just were only too happy to give me a hug. Probably didn't expect it because I was meant to be the mucky muck. But it was really delightful for me. I felt very welcome in so many ways. And today I had lunch at the local Chinese restaurant. Now, in a community of 12,000 people, what do you expect the local Chinese restaurant to look like? Well, I got news for you. I walked in there and went, wow. It was huge. It was, I don't mean just big in size. Everything about it was huge. It was all beautiful spiral staircases going up to presumably meeting rooms and things. It was grandiose beyond reality, in my view. I guess the last thing in the world I expected to walk into was what I saw. And what I realized afterwards, that I had actually had the entrepreneur who built this in the audience with me last night. And this sort of restaurant, I mean, I'm not sure I've seen that in Vancouver. And here it is, sitting in South Whidbey Island. Go figure that one. And it was, we're talking lunchtime on a Monday. How busy is your local Chinese restaurant lunchtime on a Monday? Well, I got news for you. This one looked like it was Denny's or something. You know what I mean? It was like people were there for breakfast almost. It was just like pretty busy. I can tell you that. And you're going, wow, isn't that amazing? And guess why? The food was great. Really enjoyed it. And so there's part of me that goes, go visiting a little piece of heaven like that. It definitely is good for the soul. And I will be going back, there's no doubt. How could I not go back? And what was the really cute thing was how many people walked up to me and said, "When you come back, I got a spare room. You can come stay with me." And and the most magical, and you will see this when I get the clips back, but there was this most magical lady in the audience, and I have this dream that I will be able to go back and sit with her and interview her for you. She was the most amazing woman, and all I could do when I was watching her is going, the peeps will want to meet her. They really will. They will want to meet her. And she is, I think she said she was 85. I think that's what I heard. And yet, bright as a button and really understood what I was talking about. I mean, you could just see her body language. And I'm sort of going, I hope she doesn't play poker. Because, she just gets so excited about things. And it was an honor to have her in the audience, quite honestly, for me. And so you look at it and you go, yeah, where do you go and talk? And the people are saying, hey, next time you come down, you can come and stay with me. And I'm going, I didn't say, look, I've already got really nice friends down here. And by the way, there was another thing that I thought I would mention to you. And that is, when I arrived in the house of my host and hostess for the couple of days, my first question to them, when I after I got my suitcase and stuff in the room, I looked at them and I said, I just have got one very straight question, and it's very important to me. And they said, what's that? I said, am I going to be a guest or am I going to be family? And luckily they thought about that before they answered it. They sort of went, and then just to make sure they understood me, they said, you mean, do we want you to feel like family or do you want, or a guest? And I said, yeah, I just want to know which because everybody has their own thing about guests. Because how I act if I am family will be very different from being a guest. And they said, family, without a doubt. And I said, okay, fine. And with that, I walked over to the coffee making machine and started opening a couple of drawers because I was pretty sure the coffee was close by. And I found it, and started making coffee. And then my hostess Mary wanted to get me the milk or the sugar or whatever. And I said, I'll find it. I'm family. Because if you're family, you can open drawers and look for things. If you're a guest, maybe not so much. And it was wonderful because whatever I did from that point onwards, I didn't do it as a guest, I did it as a family member. And if I watched the family put their feet on the couch, I did. I didn't ask, I just made sure that I knew what the norm was. If you know what I mean, it was just like, okay, I can do this, and consequently had a great time. Felt very relaxed, didn't feel on eggshells in any way. So I would recommend that if you go to visit somebody, make sure you know what your role is as a guest. Are you a family guest or are you an out of town guest? And it was fun. Now, what it also tells me is that they don't have a lot of boundaries, because if you think about it, an awful lot of people couldn't do that easily. A lot of people wouldn't allow you to just walk into their kitchen and get what you need. Where if I felt hungry, I would just say, where did you hide that cheese I was eating? Because that was good. I think I can live on cheese as a guest. So it was really fun. And I really felt very welcomed all around in everything, both, not only in terms of my friends that hosted me, but in terms of everybody I met. They're just such a friendly neighborhood altogether. So if any of you get a chance to visit Whidbey Island, go do it. And especially South Whidbey. And I hope your experience is as joyous as mine was. And I really do say that. Just everywhere I went, everything I did, I just ended up smiling and thinking, who wouldn't want to live here?